In the spring of 1940, Europe witnessed one of the most shocking military collapses in modern history. In just 6 weeks, the powerful nation of France fell to Nazi Germany, changing the course of World War II and leaving Britain to stand alone against a seemingly unstoppable enemy. The campaign began on May 10, 1940, when German forces under Adolf Hitler launched a massive offensive across Western Europe. Instead of repeating the trench warfare of World War I, Germany used a new strategy known as Blitzkrieg, or lightning war. This tactic combined fast-moving tanks, mechanized infantry, and overwhelming air support to break enemy lines before they could react. At first, the invasion appeared predictable. German troops attacked the Netherlands and Belgium just as they had done decades earlier. Allied commanders believed this was the main thrust of the assault and rushed their best forces north to meet it. But this was exactly what Germany wanted. While Allied armies advanced into Belgium, the real German attack pushed through the Ardennes forest, a region of dense woods and hills that French planners believed was nearly impassable for large armored forces. Yet German panzer divisions moved through the forest with remarkable speed, catching defenders completely off guard. Within days, German tanks crossed the Meuse River and broke through French lines near Sedan. Once the front collapsed, the panzers drove west toward the English Channel, slicing behind the Allied armies that had moved north. It was a classic encirclement. Suddenly, hundreds of thousands of British and French soldiers found themselves trapped with their backs to the sea. By late May, the Allies were surrounded near the coastal city of Dunkirk. German forces closed in from all sides, and it seemed inevitable that the entire army would be destroyed or captured. What followed became one of the most dramatic rescue operations in military history. Operation Dynamo, the evacuation of Dunkirk, mobilized not only naval vessels, but also hundreds of civilian boats, fishing trawlers, ferries, pleasure craft, and small private ships. Under constant air attack, these vessels crossed the English Channel again and again, carrying exhausted soldiers to safety in Britain. Over 9 days, more than 330,000 troops were evacuated. Though they left behind heavy equipment and weapons, the survival of these soldiers allowed Britain to continue the war. While the evacuation was underway, German forces resumed their advance deeper into France. The French army, though large, struggled to coordinate its defense. Communication failures, outdated tactics, and the sheer speed of the German attack created chaos. On June 14th, German troops entered Paris. The city had been declared open to avoid destruction, and there was little resistance. For many French citizens, the sight of enemy soldiers marching through their capital was both surreal and devastating. The government fled south, and morale collapsed. Despite isolated pockets of resistance, organized defense became impossible. Refugees clogged the roads, fleeing advancing troops. Supplies ran short. Units were cut off from command. 10 days later, France requested an armistice. On June 22, 1940, the surrender was signed in the same railway carriage where Germany had accepted defeat in World War I, a symbolic moment that Hitler deliberately staged as revenge. Under the terms of the agreement, northern and western France came under German occupation, while the collaborationist government based in Vichy controlled the south. The fall of France stunned the world. A nation that had been considered one of Europe's strongest military powers had been defeated in little more than a month. For Britain, the consequences were immediate and terrifying. With France out of the war, Britain faced Nazi Germany alone across the English Channel. An invasion now seemed possible. Yet the defeat of France also marked the beginning of a new phase of resistance. French soldiers, citizens, and colonial forces would later regroup under leaders determined to continue the fight from abroad and underground. Historians continue to debate why France fell so quickly. Some point to strategic mistakes and poor coordination. Others emphasize Germany's innovative tactics and bold decision-making. The psychological shock of Blitzkrieg, the speed, noise, and destruction, also played a major role in undermining morale. It is important to remember that French forces did fight hard in many battles, and casualties were heavy on both sides. The collapse was not due to lack of courage, but to a combination of surprise, mobility, and strategic failure. The Battle of France reshaped the entire war. It gave Germany control of Western Europe, access to French industry, and strategic bases along the Atlantic coast. It also forced Britain into a desperate defensive struggle that would soon become the Battle of Britain. For civilians, the occupation brought years of hardship, restrictions, and uncertainty. Families were divided, resources were controlled, and daily life changed dramatically under foreign rule. Today, The campaign of 1940 stands as one of the most studied military operations in history, a stark reminder of how quickly the balance of power can shift in wartime. In just 6 weeks, the map of Europe was redrawn, alliances were shattered, and the future of the world hung in the balance. The Battle of France was not merely a defeat, it was a turning point that set the stage for the rest of World War II.